Hey, welcome. Today we are diving into one of the biggest hurdles in learning any new language. You know the one I'm talking about? That paralyzing fear when it's time to actually speak? We're going to break down what's really going on and, more importantly, how you can build the confidence to leave that fear behind for good.
I mean, have you ever been there? You've studied the grammar, you know the vocabulary, but the second you have to talk to a real person, your mind just goes totally blank. If that's you, trust me, you are not alone. It's pretty much a universal experience for language learners.
And here's the most important thing I want you to hear today. That feeling is not some kind of personal failure. It's a real, psychological thing that linguists actually have a name for. They call it the language ego. And just understanding what that is, well, that's the first step to finally getting past it.
So let's dive in and meet this hidden part of your learning journey. We're going to talk about what it is, where it comes from, and why it has such a powerful grip on our ability to just talk.
Okay, so what in the world is a language ego? First off, it has nothing to do with being arrogant. Think of it like this. In your native language, you're confident, you're secure, you don't even think about it, right? But when you're learning a new language, you're basically building a whole new identity from the ground up. You feel like a kid again. And this new ego, it's super fragile and incredibly self-conscious. That's the thing we need to work on.
And what do we all do when we feel vulnerable? We put up walls, right? We defend ourselves. In language learning, that wall looks like staying quiet, avoiding any chance to speak, or obsessing over every single mistake before a word even leaves your mouth.
You know, this wall actually has a technical name. The famous linguist Stephen Krashen, he calls it the affective filter. The idea is actually really simple. When your anxiety and self-consciousness are high, this invisible filter goes up, and it literally blocks new language from getting in. This means your learning can totally stall out no matter how many hours you spend studying.
So this really breaks it down into two different paths we can take. Over on the left, you've got that weak language ego. It's shy, it's scared, it's obsessed with being perfect, and so it avoids speaking at all costs. But on the right, that's our goal. A strong language ego, one that's brave, resilient, and sees itself as a communicator, always looking for a chance to practice. Our whole mission here is to help you get from the left column over to the right.
So why bother with all this internal work? What's the real payoff? Well, it's not just about feeling a little better. The rewards are huge, they're tangible, and they will absolutely fast-track your journey to actually being fluent. Just look at what opens up for you. You learn so much faster because you're actually using the language. You build up this resilience where you can just laugh off a mistake instead of letting it shut you down. And this one is my absolute favorite. You start to forge genuine connections. People connect with your effort, not your perfect grammar. This turns learning from a chore into a real adventure. And honestly, it builds a kind of confidence that spills over into every other part of your life.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get to the most important part, the how. We're going to get into the practical, actionable things you can start doing like today to build that stronger, more resilient language ego.
And we're going to break this down into a really simple two-phase process. See, you can't just force yourself into action without laying the right foundation first. It all has to start with your internal mindset. Once you get that right, it paves the way for all the powerful habits to actually stick.
These 4 mindset shifts right here, they are the absolute bedrock. First, you have to give yourself permission to be imperfect. Seriously, repeat this to yourself. My goal is connection, not perfection. Next, redefine what fluency even means. It's not about flawless speech, it's about being good enough to communicate. And this one is crucial. Separate your self-worth from this skill. Making a grammar mistake doesn't say a single thing about how smart you are. You're a communicator, not a student taking a test.
All right. So once that internal foundation is feeling a little more solid, you're ready to start building. The actions you take are going to be 10 times more effective because they're coming from a much healthier place.
So where do you begin? You start in safe spaces where the stakes are literally zero. Narrate your day, out loud. I'm serious. Talk to your cat, talk to your houseplants. They are fantastic listeners, and they will never, ever judge your pronunciation. The whole point here is to just get your mouth moving and your brain working in the language, all in a totally low-pressure, even private setting. That's how you build momentum.
Okay, now this next one is a total game changer. It's a little psychological trick. I want you to create a language persona. Maybe German you is a bit more direct and bold, or Italian you is super expressive. By creating this kind of character, it puts a little distance between your core self and your performance. It feels more like you're playing a role, which makes that fear of being judged just melt away.
And what is the single most important habit you need to build? It's this. Celebrate one win every single day. And I mean a tiny win. Did you understand a line in a song? Did you successfully order a coffee? That's it. That's your win for the day. This creates this incredibly powerful positive feedback loop that proves to your brain that you are making progress.
All right, that was a lot of ideas and tactics. So let's pull it all together into a concrete, step-by-step plan that you can literally start using the second this is over.
Now, if you look at this plan, you'll see exactly how it's designed to build you up step by step. Week 1, it's all internal. It's about your identity. Week 2, you start using your voice, but safely. Then in week 3, you dip your toes into some low-stakes interaction. By the time you get to week 4, you're ready to push yourself just a little bit. See? It's a deliberate ramp-up from safety to bravery.
So I want to leave you with one final question. After all of this, I want you to ask yourself this every single time you feel that anxiety start to creep in. What if the entire point of this journey wasn't about being perfect?
What if it was just about connection? Connection with a new culture, with new people, and, yeah, with a new and braver version of yourself. Because when you change the goal from perfection to connection, you change absolutely everything.